Hey everybody, how you doing today? I hope you're having a great one. I'm Chef Tucker, and tonight I'm going to teach you a recipe that has a tough sounding name, but it's really simple to do. It's going to be coffee rub pork chops with a wild berry Monte beurre. So, in front of me I have all my mise en place, which just means put in place, which is also fancy culinary talk for just have everything ready to go. So over here on our pork side, we have salt, pepper, ground coffee, the instant kind, quarter of a teaspoon of cumin, quarter of a teaspoon of garlic powder, quarter of a teaspoon of smoked paprika, quarter of a teaspoon of chipotle powder, a quarter of a teaspoon of sugar, and an eighth of a teaspoon of cinnamon. We have butterfly pork chops, which that's going to go on in just one moment. But then let's just finish off our mise en place over here. We have 1 shallot and 1 clove of garlic sliced. We have 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of thyme, a cup of mixed wild berries. We got some balsamic vinegar and 2 cups of beef stock. So, first thing we're going to do is going to put our gloves on. And we're going to combine our rub for the measurements for salt, I'd say probably about a tablespoon, and for the black pepper, probably a teaspoon. Like I said, get yourself the freeze-dried coffee. Give it a nice mix. And then all we're going to do is we're going to throw it on our pork chops, push it in just a little bit. Use as much or as little as you want. And if you're feeling like adjusting the heat, add a little bit more chipotle or ancho peppers to it. My family doesn't really care for spicy, so you kind of got to go with what the crowd says, you know. Nice and covered. And then what we're going to do with these is we're going to set them to the side for just a few minutes, and that's going to let the pork chop absorb some of this flavor. And then we'll throw it on the grill. So while it's waiting, we're just going to go ahead and take it, finish seasoning it, and then throw it right into our refrigerator. And while that's chilling and soaking up all that flavor, we're going to get started on our berry sauce. Well, here we are. We're getting ready to make our wild berry Monte beurre. We're going to start by adding just a little bit of olive oil to a pan. Have our heat on a medium heat. We're going to go ahead and put in our shallots and garlic. And then we're just going to toss that around just for a moment because we're just looking to get it a little bit fragrant. Because what's going to happen is when we start adding the other ingredients, it's all going to start marrying itself together. So don't have to worry too much about getting this cooked at this point. Alright, so after about a minute or so, because it doesn't take very long for that heat to activate the garlic and the shallots, we're ready to add our next ingredient, which is our wild berry mixture. This is blueberry, blackberry, raspberry, and strawberry. If you can get it fresh, that's great, but the frozen food section has a bag, and that's what we're going to use right now because it comes with some nice juice in it too. Alright. Looks pretty good. We're going to add our thyme. We're going to add our sugar. Pepper. We're going to hold off on salt until we get close to the end. We're going to heat this up. Add about a tablespoon of balsamic. Don't want to overpower it, just want it for that nice sweet tangy kick. Then we're going to turn the heat up to about a medium high. And then we're going to add our beef stock. And we're going to let that beef stock reduce down till it becomes nappe. Nappe is another fancy culinary word. Just means that it sticks to the back of your spoon. So we'll come back in just a moment. All right, once you get it to a rolling simmer, you're going to let it go for probably about 10-20 minutes, however long it takes to reduce it down. Okay, it's been about between 15 and 20 minutes, depending on how high your temperature is. And what we're looking for is what I call nappe. It's where it sticks to the back of the spoon. When you wipe your finger across it, it leaves a mark. So we are ready. It reduced down by probably about half, maybe a little bit more. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our mixture and run it through a strainer real quick. And then when we have it in our strainer, just kind of mash it through. Get any last bit of flavor in there. This stuff we're about done with. Alright, so what we're left with is just a concentrated version of what we started off with. Mixed berries, balsamic vinegar, and then the juices from the shallots and the garlic, and the flavoring from the thyme and sugar. So we're going to go ahead and let this sit and just simmer for just another minute or so, and then we're going to go ahead and throw our pork chops on the grill. Alright, now that we have our sauce nappe and kind of concentrated, we're going to move on to the beurre part of the Monte, which we're going to take diced pieces of butter, cold butter, very important that it's cold, and then we're going to just gently mix them into our sauce until it becomes nice and smooth and silky. Condensing all those flavors down, and the butter just finishes it off nicely. Now, Monte is a sauce you can make ahead of time up to this point, but as soon as you add the butter, it doesn't reheat very well. It will reheat, but just not as well. It'll start to break apart, and it'll still be delicious, but it won't look nearly as pretty. So for this, I went ahead and cubed up probably about 3/4 of a stick of butter, and we're just going to keep going until it reaches that malt beurre level where it's nice and silky and smooth, and then that's where we'll stop adding butter. But it looks like we are almost there. Look how it's just separating from the pan like that. Just constantly whisk though. You don't want the butter to melt in one place because then it won't melt into the sauce. It'll just be melting in small little sections, and then you have a little oil and a broken sauce. Again, this is not hard. It just takes a little preparation and a little bit of patience. Look at that. Fabulous nappe. We're gonna add just a touch more because I think I want just a little bit more. So this will probably be about half a stick of butter that I've done by the time I've done mixing it. Again, this is a sauce you can make ahead of time and just have sit in your refrigerator, heat back up, and then add the butter to finish it off. Alright, the pork chops are just about done, our sauce is just about done, so that means it's just about time to eat. So I'll see you in just one moment. Alright, so as you can see, we've got our wild berry Monte beurre and our coffee rub pork chop. Let's give it a taste. I'm looking forward to this. You have a nice little bitterness and smoky spiciness from the grilled pork chop with the wild berry Monte beurre to kind of cream it out and mellow it out. That is delicious, guys. Be sure to try this at home. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, and share. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a good day.